And we're back. Man, I was saying this right before the show started, but taking a week off, you almost forget what it's like to host a show.
Bro, you never get off the treadmill, man. That's the secret, bro. Just never stop. That's the best way.
No wonder why these people who are in corporate media just forever get stuck on 24/7 news. It's just you forget that you actually have to report on things. It's just like it becomes like an opinion show.
Totally, man.
Did you have a good Christmas?
Oh, good, man. Yeah, it's all good. Trees, just, wife's away. So it was a bit of a craziness trying to do it all myself. But we managed. We got a little beach time in. So it was all good, man.
How about you, Chris? Did you have a good time? Good holidays?
Yeah, man. Getting older, the family just gets smaller. So there's like four of us now. My older brother's in Texas. So he's a bit far out. But it was good, just hanging out with the family. Always good. Little refresh from the markets and stuff, but it was a good time. I'm feeling energized. How was yours? Or how was your weekend, I guess?
Me too. Well, as a fellow Jewish American, we got to celebrate 8 days of Hanukkah. So yesterday I was with some friends at a Hanukkah party and, hung out with the family. My dad's side is Catholic, so we kind of do both. Good and refreshing, yeah. Hands got a break from being on the computer 24/7. It's kind of nice. Although we still did work through all of it, so we still definitely worked. I mean, with Tensorium, right? That's been heads down on that this whole time. Gotta say, some wild technology that Shannon has built. Been testing it. Put out some teasers today, so should see some fireworks right before the ball drop.
Awesome, man. Let's go, dude.
Let's go.
Couldn't say that anymore. One more thing before we do get into kind of the conversation here. I still can't believe it's December, man. Like
December is over.
We launched the expansion campaign 4 weeks ago. I feel like that was like half a year ago. Like, there's so much happened this month that getting overloaded. It's a great problem to have though for the company.
Yeah, dude, it's so it is what it is, but yeah, this is what you want to happen, right? You want to be overloaded with good stuff happening, and we're overloaded, man. It's full tilt right now.
Bullish. A few things of note over the over the weekend, or I guess over this week, we put out 2 different essays. One, nice little write-up of what happened this year, kind of reviewing it, everything that happened for the Emblem. Can't believe. So the first thing that we did after I was researching all of this, our SDK was the first thing that we launched in 2024 and ended up having some benefits, right? The Televault protocol was launched. Chris joined us officially in January as well. Wow, it feels like it's been much longer, but
in a good way. In a good
way. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been forever.
It's been, yeah. We had the Embells mint in February. That was kind of crazy chaotic. Embells are making a comeback after people realized that Embells are going to get a keys airdrop, even though that was it's been public information for 3 weeks. Sometimes you just got to kind of, throw it at the degens and kind of hint at them that, hey, there's some opportunity here. And we had the first ever creator or artist focused curated collection with Dark Farms was in March. We all went to NFT NYC. We etched Emblem Vault keys in April, and really no one noticed for 8 months. So degens
that can be said about almost all runes, right?
Somebody in my comments yesterday was like, I think you guys doing runes was a horrible mistake. And I was like, yeah, we definitely weighed that. But I think the opportunity of the upside is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're betting on the runes ecosystem evolving and maturing 10 months from now when the TGE happens. If that doesn't, then I think Bitcoin is in a little bit of a tougher state than just runes themselves.
Totally.
But I was talking about it with Hustle last night, and he's super bullish on runes, or at least he's super bullish on keys, I should say. I'll have some more posts about that. In May, we formed CrossChain Ventures LLC, which was over a year kind of in the making. I was promoted to the lead puzzle solver of the company. And we had a node monkey that took a loan of 130 ETH back in May. So, dude, just tons and tons of progress. In June, the migrations finally came near to completion with Namecoin and Counterparty and the Ordinals collections. We created our Emblem dashboard and Explorer that month, our kind of internal tools. Emblem Markets launched in July. I feel like that was like a year ago that happened.
It was 2 years ago in crypto. Like literally, dude. It's like we're in time warp speed, man. It's honestly, you look at that, it's insane that we have a team this size and produce this much. It's a testament to Shannon and just us too. I mean, being able to get all this done is beyond bonkers.
Beyond bonkers. In August, and then I'm gonna hurry through this so we could get to predictions, because that's always the kind of the fun conversation here. Yeah, in September, we launched Emblem Vision. So that was the new front end. The Emblem dashboard was released, the Dune dashboard with all the analytics. Shout out to Dropless for creating that. We were accepted into the Arbitrum grant program in October, as well as Televault launched, which was the ability to take UTXO-based cryptocurrencies like Bell's Coin, Bitcoin, etc., to Ethereum and Solana as a fungible token. We announced the Koval Time Lock program. In November, we announced the partnership with Ordinal Revolution, which has been amazing. On top of that, we launched Tensorium and Agent Hustle. That was initially in November. And now here we are a month later, where in December, also a huge month, we announced the expansion campaign. Emblem AI entered the hackathon. Time Lock vaults were first introduced. So the first Emblem 2.0 vault. Agent Hustle is going to see some public participation here soon, and founder vaults, the collections deployed and delivery here early. Like that was a insane month for us. So moving forward, I also, too, shameless plug here, posted my own end of the year essay. Maybe I'll pin it to the top, just talking about everything that happened for Emblem and for myself, and everything moving forward there. So lots of essays, lots of fun.
What's the TLDR on the essay? What's the key takeaway?
Yeah. I'd say the three. So the three biggest takeaways this year, at least for myself. Let's see. I actually have the three different ones. So one of them is dream big and shoot higher is the topic, which just talks about the expansion campaign, and really like our goals and expectations there is to literally just change the industry forever. Right. And for some people, after a month of looking at this, for a lot of people, it's kind of confusing what's really going on here. I do think we're starting to make a little bit of headway in terms of what the larger objective is. But for us, man, it's, we're a small team that's, competing against, $100, $200 million funded companies with 100-person teams. Our benefit is that we have a grassroots movement, and we're also pretty much forever tied to Repepe, which I think gives us like an astronomical advantage over any of these other companies on the cultural side. So, and then combine that with the forming AI division that we have with the company, I think it's going to be really hard for these teams to compete with us if we can execute on what our plans are.
Yeah, I saw you retweet. I guess Beanie had a tweet earlier about, really competent teams, small competent teams. And if you study business at all, this is the way it works. That ability to be quick, fast, nimble, and take advantage of new market conditions, which in crypto are probably the most rapidly changing in any industry in the world. Yeah, I saw you respond to that tweet from him, and yeah, we're on it, man. This is like, dude, you talk about, and it's funny because he did mention cross chain, and this was the time for cross chain and stuff like that. And yeah, who's better positioned than us, man? It's fantastic.
Yeah. The final two notes was the title is Raising Capital is Not Easy, and now I know why. Oh man, it's not over, but we made a lot of headway there, dude, over the last year between, Adam and myself reaching out and talking with crypto VCs, traditional VCs, hedge funds, investment DAOs, retail traders, right? Alpha groups, the whole name it, dude. Everyone's got a different opinion on everything. And I think that was probably my biggest learning experience throughout the entire year, is engaging with probably close to 1,000 different people over the last year in terms of funding, raising capital, token sales, etc. And then the final one is titled "Steering the Ship Requires Three Hands." Right. So when you become the leader of a company, you realize that you can't do it yourself, and that there's always got to be extra hands who are going to do it. So unless you want to grow a third pair or third hand and arm, then you got to ensure that other people are helping you steer that along the way. So cool essays. I try to do this every year. I try to do like a reflection. I did one last year, and
good for you, man.
Yeah, should be fun. So I'm excited. I think the team's really excited about what's to come. And now let's wrap this up, man. Who wants to go first? So we all made predictions for 2025. I think some of them are, kind of straightforward. Some of them reaching for the stars a little bit to have some fun here, right? I think everyone wants just, hey, my token is going to this number. And so reinforce that idea, but it's not always, fun for the people making it.
I'm checking my DMs and stuff now. People are like, why didn't you mention Bell's coin? Bro, it's like, bro, it's so funny, dude. Everybody's pumping their bag. I actually responded. I was like, shilling doesn't really work. It's so funny. We all want number to go up, and number go up is the most important technology. But at the end of the day, what are we all doing here? I think we're greatly aligned, our team, on building something bigger than simply a number go up machine, although that is an important part for intention and stuff like that. But keeping true to your core, I think, is a better way to live than simply, focusing on number go up technology. Just had to make that point.
Yeah, Adam, you want to go first here?
Sure. You want to throw up? Do you have my?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up here in a second.
And mine's probably the most smooth brain. I didn't, I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't really, dive deep into, because there's not too much deepness going on here. This is more just like my gut reactions to kind of, high level things of the way I kind of look at it. Most of it is probably very wrong, but I do feel like certain things at the very top of the list, I feel quite certain about. Do you have the link to the actual
the slideshow? Yeah, let me pull it up in a second. The first one I'll read out loud, and then we'll discuss it. So your first one, which is number 10, is the war on crypto is over.
Yeah, I think.
What do you mean by that?
This is actually the most important of all of them, right? This is the thing that's like foundational level. I think, just the administration change in the US. I expect open arms to crypto in the US. I think that at the highest level, the smart guys recognize that, to get out of this predicament that the US is in, we need massive economic engines to take off. And crypto is just the one which can be massive. And fumbled the ball early in crypto's history by letting this go to Asia, Europe, and wherever else was, the Maldives, wherever else you could set up these corporations and run stuff. And I think that this is, mainly driven by bankers. Like, bankers understand, shoot, why are we letting, why can't we do what Tether's doing? And I think there will be battles on that front. Like for Tether, I think Tether's in real trouble. I think they're going to run up against big hurdles to stay in business in the U.S. But the bankers and the people who want to make money will use government to kind of like wrangle in this industry and be able to make money on it. But for, people like us that just want to run businesses in crypto, I think it's going to be boom time. So just the most important slide of the whole deck. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think? You think Tether's in trouble, even though they have, maybe $100 billion in, I think, treasury bills?
I mean, I think that they're in a good spot. I think they're in the best spot that they've ever been in. They just, they're getting kind of onshore through investment in things like Rumble. They're clearly pretty closely tied to the U.S. government at this point in time. So I think the outlook for Tether kind of looks better than it's ever looked. If that's good or not, that's up to interpretation, but I think it's the best that it's ever been. So I guess we'll have to see.
That I'd actually totally agree with. And there's nothing like money, right? We saw that with SBF, right? There's nothing like money to buy influence and power in DC. So you're not wrong. Let's go to number 9. What's number 9, Jake?
Let's go.
Let's do it. So number 9 is AI agent platform hits the top 10 on CMC. You have here AI 16Z. You think it will be AI 16Z or?
I mean, certainly
we do
Virtuals
have
has
somebody
the
else coming
lead.
in.
Virtuals has the lead right now. And so they're kind of the preemptive. I would lean towards something along with the AI16Z simply because it seems like they have more devs, and it's going to be a faster build to something more substantial. I think I saw, I don't know if it passed on your timeline maybe yesterday or the day before, somebody did kind of a, a little expose on Virtuals is really just like, fake it till you make it, which I agree with to a large extent. But we know that fake it till you make it, and their coins, I don't know, $3 billion something right now, can often work. And so it just seems like inevitable as we get into more of this slide deck and AI agents are going to lead this cycle in my view. And what platform becomes the number one? We've already seen it with Pumped Up Fun, becomes the generating money revenue thing. And if the token somehow gets value from that, this could be a massive, massive token. Yep.
Yeah, I did see that AI16Z announced that they're exploring an L1 blockchain for AI. That might be right. They're taking two turns here. First, they're trying to get into the launchpad business because that seems to be the biggest moneymaker this year. And then maybe they want to get into the VC, Alt1, smart contract trade. So dipping two hands and
whatever you can put a narrative on. These smart contract platforms that were built for everything, they need to be niched out once again. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I completely agree there. So number 8, Bitcoin does not reach 200K. Not bullish on Bitcoin, or is there some outside force that's going to keep it pushed down?
For me, the outside force is a revived U.S. economy and a stronger dollar. I think that it's not, again, it's not that Bitcoin is going up in value. It's the U.S. dollar is going down in value against Bitcoin. And I think again, this is kind of hoping the new administration is fiscally responsible. That's a big hope, right? And it may not work out that way, but I feel like the change in administration may tamper Bitcoin's, rise to infinity.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of tweets actually recently on the timeline about, hey, maybe we should consider if Trump actually does execute on some of his plans, and that might not be as bullish for Bitcoin in the short to midterm. Obviously, long term is, but in the near term.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like no government on earth has been able to kind of reel in spending, and so what are the odds of it? I don't know, but sentiment may be that they are moving in that direction, and even though it may not be on paper, they are still might strengthen the dollar against Bitcoin.
Number 7, dog to 5 billion. Man, it's not going to 100 billion like the dog army thinks.
I mean, this was my conservative estimate, right? Hey, it's like it's like, I don't know, 100 billion. I think meme coins to some degree have maybe not topped, but it's frothy, right? I have friends who've talked about meme coins are well exposed, and so does it rotate into Bitcoin? My thesis is, yeah, it still does. And so dog still goes on a run, but 5 billion, I think is a fair call. It definitely is going to get, I mean, if it doesn't get $1 billion, what on Bitcoin's no meme coin on Bitcoin's going to $1 billion. So I think once it gets past $1 billion, it takes on a life of its own.
Dog gonna lead the runes charge, and then maybe we see Magic Internet Money and Pups follow the
I believe
lead.
they did announce a date, Chris, didn't they?
I think it's I think it's been announced, but I think it's February 18th.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the actual date that the original meme was launched, something like that. So it's like significant within the lore.
Yep.
I believe.
Yeah, it's not official until AI KOL overlord AI XBT announces it.
I mean, if you don't think the AI is leading the cycle, how quickly has that agent become basically the number one influencer on crypto Twitter? It's bonkers, right?
Absolutely. So number 6, Ethereum hits 8K. Man, Ethereum has a comeback, or is this just ETF flows?
I think it's ETF flows. Yeah, I think most of America has no idea what Ethereum is right now. I think that changes as crypto bull run hits, in force in the US, and Ethereum will benefit from that. And obviously the L2s and all this sort of stuff, that just kind of plays into the narrative of as Ethereum kind of this base layer internet computer thing. And so, yeah, I think it eventually hits kind of the normies, and the normie inflow causes that number to rise.
You guys are brutal. I mean, Ethereum, one of the greatest innovations known to mankind. A 2x in the year, Adam? That's like we're pulling straws out of the hat. Like 2x, it'll be
2x, bro. 2x. I'll take a 2x on Ethereum, man. It's all right. This is the safe play, man. This is the safe money, bro. This is the safe money.
I have seen the timeline start gravitating back to the original. I guess the original claim of Ethereum being the world computer. I'm starting to see that become more of the front running narrative, and they're starting to drop the ultrasound money, which I think was horrific to do in the beginning anyways, to try to compete with Bitcoin.
This was one of mine. I had Ethereum breaks 15,000.
Woo! Prediction, bro. Faster the better.
I think 15K puts Ethereum at $1 trillion market cap.
Around $1 trillion. The original Bitcoin run from like 2017, it ran from like 2K-ish to like 20K-ish. So similar in terms of like units. And I think Ethereum has been like the master of the narrative game. They've been like a chameleon for so many years. And I don't think that just ends here. So I think it trades much higher. I think it's pretty faded. And that's from someone that's like not an Ethereum bull. It just, I think the market's going to go berserk.
If Chris has spoken, I'm going all in on Ethereum now.
Hey, I mean, if you're looking for the safe bets, these are the safe.
Yeah.
bets.
Yeah, I agree. Bullish on it. All right, let's go. Number 5, Dogecoin ETF approved.
Let's go. I think we started that narrative on this show, Adam.
I think we might have, and I think it's inevitable at this point, man. I don't think there's any doubt this happens. Full attention. Wall Street this will be the meme coin play for Wall Street. And, it seems inevitable now.
Doge. Number 4, historical NFTs fail to get mainstream attention.
I had to throw out the HNFT. Now,
that's our backdrop. That's our foundation.
This is the just to kind of put context on my current thoughts. Will, we're looking at a Lost Robbie here. Will them CryptoPunks, X copies do well? Yes, of course. But I really feel like what we're talking about, which is like the stuff that the HNFT community only knows about, I don't know, Realms of Ether, Pixel Map, right? When are these going to pop off? I actually don't think it's this cycle. I think we need another cycle of awareness building. I think we need an adoption of digital assets. Dude, nobody even believes in digital assets right now, right? I mean, the world does not believe in this stuff yet, to be perfectly honest. And, we're just trading amongst ourselves right now. So I feel like, we need a wider spread adoption of crypto to happen. And I don't really believe that happens this cycle. I think we need at least another cycle.
Unironically, I think the phrase that we were yelling out in 2021 of buy and hold for 10 years, I think is actually what it is.
I 100% believe that's true. Yeah. I think we were absolutely right at that time. Intuitively, we got what it was going to take, which is these things can take decades for people to really get it. And I think this is going to be a decade play for sure.
Yeah. I think we need Rare Pepe probably to take the center lead there. 100%. And because CryptoPunks are HNFTs, but they've progressed past that. They're like pop culture. Rare Pepe is still kind of in this HNFT. I think we need that to break out to this like pop culture kind of collection. Obviously, Pepe is pop culture, but Rare Pepe, I don't think has gotten there yet. Although, good.
You saw Elon changed his became Kekis Maximus or whatever, which was awesome. And I retweeted something about that earlier because I mean it was only I don't know a year ago. Pepe gifts were still banned on X, right? And getting that changed, the swing back to basically freeing Pepe from kind of the woke mob or whoever the far right, whoever commandeered Pepe back in 2015, 16, whatever, was kind of an important part to that. And yeah, Rare Pepes certainly lead the charge into HNFTs for sure.
There we go. So number 3, Solana hits number 3 on CMC. I think Solana continues just domination of the cycle.
Totally. Solana's the cycle, man, for sure. I think, if you guys noticed, Vaifu launched their, V2 today. You know, pay attention to them. You know, can they overtake virtuals on, you know, for AI agents? Possible. But Solana, you know, the tooling's better. Everything's better on Solana than on Base. So I'm still very much bullish on Solana, and obviously with meme coins still cracking, Solana's still the big L1 winner.
Yeah.
Although if ETH goes to 15K, all bets are off.
Yeah, Solana's going to be tough to compete with. Still is. Number 2, L2 struggle for attention. You've put a Bored Ape, man. What does this mean?
Dude, I mean, I just think, you know, we've seen it already with Blast, and just this idea of how these guys, it's going to be a real struggle for these guys to bring attention, keep attention. Obviously, the Penguins are going to have a good run at it. These guys are masters, but still, they're going to have a real tough time. And you know, is Ape Chain going to be the one? Is the Penguin Chain going to be the one? Like, all these guys are going to really, really struggle, in my view. I mean, we're obviously, Emblem's going to be a big part of bringing assets to these chains. So it's going to be fun to, you know, be part of it and try to drive this attention. But will they be able to maintain it? Will value accrue on these chains? Boy, it's a tough nut to crack. I think they're going to really, really struggle. It gets back to my general thesis that I don't know if L2s survive. I believe we may live in an L1 world, and it's simply connecting those L1s.
Interesting. Yeah, we do have some insights that no one else does, because we have talked with all of these L2s, almost every single one of them. So we do know kind of what they're optimizing for. Shall be interesting. And then number 1, AI agents lead the bull run. So we've mentioned this a little bit. Would you like to expand on what you mean by lead?
By lead, I mean, this is the attention. This is the people's focus and attention. This is going to dominate the timelines. It's already doing it. We caught on to this, I don't even know, month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And now it's clear. I don't think there's any doubt about it anymore. This is like the next best version of NFTs in 21, but at a whole nother level, right? I've made posts about it. Like NFTs, we had to convince people that ownership of digital items was possible on public blockchains, right? We still haven't convinced people that that's real. But AI agents, everybody's using AI right now. Everybody I know uses it daily in their lives. And most people like myself use it all day long. At least if you're in kind of the digital realm of profession, you're using this stuff all day long. And it's combining, you know, the most important like technological advancement since the internet with crypto. This is for crypto. This is like the ultimate gamble, right? Where you can gamble not only on meme coins or something stupid, but you can gamble on like actual like things that are going to do labor work, figure out, make money. Like it's the perfect combination for crypto. You know, where it settles, you know, I think we're going to have, you know, like with all crypto, 99% of it's going to be garbage and nothing. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to maybe get some real movement into agents that are able to do things, whether it's just whatever, trade DeFi, make better gambling, whatever it is. We're going to get some things that really crack in the next year that are just going to be, it's going to be multiple billions of dollars of value created. So yeah, super bullish on that.
Bullish. Yeah. I think we were very right on identifying that early as a team and diving in. Obviously, this is one of Shannon's expertise is AI. So perfect fit for us as well. Great list.
Hell yeah.
Really fun. Chris, do you want to go next or I could go? I have 25 predictions. And I actually have 6 Emblem predictions I did as well.
Oh, let's go, man.
Some of them are just some of them were kind of just like wild, you know, out of left field predictions, but I think that's kind of what made it fun.
Dude, cool. Gotta hear this, man. Go in, dive in, dude.
Yeah, shoot for it.
All right.
So,
I'm going to tweet these out later. I didn't have time to put it in a thread. So it's here on a spreadsheet. It's not as sexy as Adam's, but I'll make it sexy here a little bit later today. So my first one, runes surpass a $12 billion market cap. So as of today, or at least when I wrote this, the market cap was 1.2. So basically saying a 10x improvement over the year. The reasons why is that you have things like Arch Network that are coming in and trying to do stuff on the L1. Obviously, no centralized exchange has listed these. So that's going to skyrocket the market cap. And I just think eventually there's going to be some sort of turning point where people are just going to start piling into runes, whether they are undervalued compared to anything else or the wealth effect of ordinals, pushes it over there. I just don't think that the Bitcoin community lets the shit die. I think runes is the winner, and I find it hard for that to just wither away. Number 2 I have is 2,000 agents tracked by Cookie.fun. So as of now, I think it's about 500. So 4x in agents. If we do see anything close to what happened with meme coins, where this thing just exploded from a few hundred a day to 50,000 a day.
Yeah, dude, I might throw a couple zeros on that, man. Seriously, this might get nuts, right? It could get completely nuts.
Yeah, being a little conservative on that one, but we'll see. I mean, everyone wants to launch AI Launchpad, so we're gonna see there. This one was tough to put out, but Bitcoin consolidates between 70K and 120K for almost a year up until Q4. Wow. I think that Trump's policies are going to take a quarter or two from January to kick in, and for that to solidify. I think with that and the attempt to try to strengthen the dollar and with the Doge efficiency, that I think there's going to be confusion in the market, but this will be good because then it's going to allow alts and everything else to kind of just boom kind of during that time. I do think there will probably be a prolonged kind of consolidation period where maybe things are red and it catches people off by surprise, maybe during the summer. Maybe we get one of those again. But it's more under the thesis that I don't think the top of this market's in until 2026.
Wow.
Is kind of, I think we're in a prolonged bull market because of ETFs, because of new regulatory environment, and just the market now. There's so many different sectors that it's tough to really kind of push it up and have that kind of blow off the top, just because the market or the money is so diversified now across all of these different sectors. So we will see on that. And then if you guys have any comments on any of this, please feel free to hop in.
Well, what give us your price prediction for Bitcoin in 26? Like, do you what would be your top?
It depends on a few things, which I have listed in here, but I would say probably like 275.
Okay.
Maybe. I think everyone is focused on 250. So it's either going to be slightly below that or a little bit higher than it. Will be, to be determined. The Bitcoin dog liquidity pool grows to over 10 million in LP. So whoever the winning AMM is, if there is one for runes, this is kind of why I think runes are going to go past 12 billion. I think the dog LP just has one of the largest ratios of market cap to liquidity across all these different markets. I think from where I'm seeing, I think Arch Network seems to be where everyone's going to start building this. And I have a comment on that later. But with dog being literally over 50% of the runes market cap, this is going to be a big signal into what happens over the next, or I guess what happens with runes. And number 5 is 0 new ordinal collections break into the top 5 ordinal collections. I think the top 5 is pretty much solidified between the 4 PFPs and Bitmap. And I find it hard for new people to come in and etch new collections and pay the fees and to gather attention. I think that the ordinal winners have already been determined, and you basically just want to have a large bet there. So I haven't seen any new people try to come in. I mean, you had Fukuhedrons just come in from like a Nakamigos, but unless you see something like Yuga doing a PFP or maybe Pudgies do an ordinal collection or something like that, but I think the winners are here already.
Yep.
So let's see. Let's do a few more. AI agent sector surpasses 69 billion. We're all bullish on memes, that's really only a 6x from where we're at, which seems pretty crazy. ICOs are legalized in the USA. I think that'll be part of the crypto infrastructure bill. They're going to have very specific criteria around what an ICO is. And actually, I'd add to this that I think then Echo, which we used for 10% of the founder vaults, I think will have a dramatic lead kind of in that sector. And then they're also going to give some, I guess, some leverage or some leniency to U.S. companies who are doing ICOs. Like Trump's already hinted at no income taxes on, or no capital gains taxes on U.S. registered companies, or on their fungible trading of their fungible token. Which, bad news for Magic Eden, OpenSea, and all these companies that have registered their foundation in the Cayman Islands. Like they're potentially making a horrific mistake if that ends up being the case here.
Absolutely.
Obviously, more just bullish on us as well of sticking it out in tough times over the last.
By the way, does anybody think OpenSea is going to actually announce something today? Because did you see that on the timeline? They said OpenSea 2.0 coming December, and today's the last day of December.
I have a prediction actually on OpenSea.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We'll tune in. All right.
So I think Doge flips Tether at some point in time. Also, I think like Tether is going to expand quite rapidly. I don't think Tether. I actually have the opposite take of Adam. I think Tether is only going to increase its dominance. I think it has the U.S.
You and Chris I'm probably wrong there. I mean, thinking about it now, you guys make good points. The odds are they're embedded with the U.S. government and they don't lose. You're probably right about that.
They're now they're diversifying, and usually once you start diversifying your investments means that you're already kind of in the lead, and you're now basically clenching or tightening.
Yeah, you guys are probably right about that for sure.
That grip.
And kind of an easy one, just because Howard Lutnick was the one that did the banking for Tether through Cantor Fitzgerald.
Right, and he's Trump's main guy, right?
Exactly. So
yeah,
that's
smart.
So number 9, utility tokens make a comeback through native protocol yield. That's been the big no-no for a while, right? The big example is everyone's been asking Uniswap to turn on the fee button, where you take your uni, stake it, and you get a percentage of the protocol fees. I think that's what kicks off the rebirth of utility tokens. I saw Frank was actually saying we should relabel them to infra tokens instead of utility tokens, just like shitcoins were rebranded to meme coins. But I think that's what kicks it off, and the pendulum starts swinging back the other way for utility and infra and interest. People are getting a little burnt out on meme coins, or just the older generation wants to participate in things that are not specifically meme coins, because maybe just the Gen Z, their attention's so fried that maybe that's the only thing they participate in for a while. But the older generations, like millennials and up, are generally kind of infra-minded first type people. And
I mean, if just that one thing is legal in the US, this is it's massive for crypto. Massive.
So this one I have an L2 take. I think the Bitcoin L2 winners emerge, but L2s on Bitcoin, they have to end up becoming niche, kind of like what Abstract and ApeChain are doing. I don't think a general purpose L2 on Bitcoin is going to find success. Maybe that Stacks, because they're kind of the incumbent and they've been here for a while. But from what I'm seeing, the L2, I say in quotes, because there's different types of L2s. You have side chains and TEs and EVMs and stuff. But kind of what I'm seeing is that the winners are already starting to kind of emerge here. Whereas Stacks, I guess, is the general purpose one, or it becomes the kind of synthetic Bitcoin chain. You have Merlin that's doing BTC multi-chain kind of things, where it's interesting what Merlin's doing, or at least where the attention is going on Merlin, where it's you deploy these tokens. For example, I saw one there's called BTC Fun, which is a pump fund on Merlin. And basically what it does is it etches the rune and then just holds it in a reserve, and then you do all of the actual programmatic stuff on Merlin. And so the token actually exists on Bitcoin, but just everything is being done on Merlin as a holding. So that seems to be kind of where interest is. It's actually the Emblem conversation as well, when we were talking with Unicross about, hey, let's put some of these assets in vaults and then, fractionalize them and do different types of stuff there. I do think Arch is going to take the lead for BTC DeFi as Saturn is building their kind of DEX. We saw that what's the Fluid Tokens also announced that they're moving over there. They have Liquidium is using Arch now. That seems to be the place where Bitcoin DeFi is happening. So shout out to them. Also too for Emblem, now that we're moving on keys, I think I kind of have to take a little bit more of a different perspective of not just somebody who comments on it, but somebody who actually has a vested interest in where the progression of runes is going. And then Opcat experimentation seems to continue to happen on Fractal. Number 11, Solana continues to dominate the application layer and AI sector, but I think the prices are underwhelm expectations. There's a big kind of unlock happening there. I also think just because it's like up 20x, I think you'll probably see a little bit of a range. This is not to say like Solana's dying or anything, but I just think it kind of cools off here for a little bit and gives the ecosystem kind of breathing room.
When
and
is
then
the
it gives
unlock? When is that happening?
I think it's in February.
In February. Yeah.
February or March, early sometime this year.
Yeah, and then it gives the builders, I think, opportunity to build things outside of meme coins, kind of take the attention away from them, and allow them to kind of breathe and build, and then eventually attention will come back as price increases. That seems to be kind of how the kind of bull bear works with crypto. Is as the number goes up, right? The dev activity tends to go down because you have more people kind of in the DMs and in your Discord asking when and all these different things. And then when the price consolidates, the developers have more time to kind of build things, and eventually then price kind of goes back up there. Number 12, specialized ETH L2s reach a higher unique user count than generalized L2s. This is just kind of generalized saying, I think like Ape Chain and Abstract, and I think Anime Chain is the Zuki one, I think outperform the generalized L2s. Kind of to Adam's point, where I don't know if generalized L2s are going to be the thing. I think L2s just continue to become more specialized over time as they capture their kind of niche audiences. They have kind of these attractive. It's the culture layer, I think, is really tough to beat. Number 13, Monad, Barra, and Sui underperform to these new AI-focused layer ones. So there's a lot of expectations that Monad, Barachain, Sui, they're the new kind of alt layer one trade this cycle. I think since all the focus is on AI, I think that anything that labels himself as an AI layer one is probably going to outperform those because of where all the attention is.
Yep.
My biggest out of left field prediction, I think, is this one. I think TradFi and the legacy media back the Opcat activation and they start promoting it on legacy media. I think, whether it's Udi or whether it's somebody who ends up, if the Opcat thing continues, whether it's like kind of this internal warfare to then, captures a lot of attention. I think, TradFi, who doesn't really understand a lot of the cultural context, just sees dollars on it after conversation is had. And so then they start backing it, and then eventually leads to an activation later in the year. So, yeah.
Dude, never fade Udi, man. I learned that, dude. The way he got whatever AI XBT to take, and change his PFP. I mean, you got to give Udi credit, man. The dude, how the fuck did Udi win the AI battle, dude? How the fuck did that happen, bro? So I don't fade him, bro. I feel like Opcat's gonna happen.
Him and Eric Wall are just like two very smart people. They're a little bit on different sides of, Udi does really good at playing he's really good at playing 180 IQ on the 40 IQ people. And then Eric's kind of the opposite, where he knows how to dumb it down for the kind of 150 IQ people or present it nicely. So they're pretty good barbell in that situation. Number 15, I think Casey finally pushes a major update to the Runes protocol after the community has some pushback for whatever the reasons. Maybe Arch Network doesn't end up finding success and there needs to be some protocol upgrade. But I think after Casey's been pretty committed to not making any changes, I think that the community pushes him into a corner to make some changes to it. How significant? I don't know, but I do think that is a potential there. Number 16, I think the U.S. Strategic Reserve stalls and they end up compromising on just retaining the seized Bitcoin and converting that to the U.S. Reserve. I've seen a few people also talk about that. Number 17, Twitter enables Doge payments.
That's a good one. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, that one to me seems, I think he's now like close to 40 states that he's got a money transmitter license. So I think once he gets to 50 or at least close to that, I think then he starts turning on a lot of these different things. I think the Launchpad bubble tops in the second half of the year. It seems that the Launchpad stuff is just continuing to grow, right? Which just means more tokens, which eventually means more saturation. Once the Launchpad bubble, stalls, right? I think then everything switches over to consolidates around kind of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and some of the winners there. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain, 50,000 tokens a day on Solana. Then you got 1,000 per day on virtuals, and then waifu and whatever else comes next. I think that eventually there's going to be a top on that. I think no new crypto ETFs in 2025. Not that I'm not bullish on them. I just think that with the market regulation bill, I think ETFs don't get approved until the new administration figures out what the new rules are.
Interesting.
I think everything kind of takes a backseat to that. So that could take, a month. It could take 6 months. Could take a year. Who really knows? Number 20, synthetic Bitcoin products reach 1% of Bitcoin's market cap. So this is things like WBTC, Coinbase BTC, SBTC on stacks. I was looking at it the other day. It looks like the market cap, I couldn't get a complete number, but it looks like it's around like 15 billion or so. So to get to 1% would be, if Bitcoin's at 2 trillion, that's a 20 billion. So it's really, a 25% increase from here. But as Bitcoin goes up, obviously that number will have to increase. So, maybe saying, 25 billion or 30 billion synthetic Bitcoin over the next year or so. Number 21, this is the OpenSea one.
Yeah.
I think Seaport 2.0 is probably one of the biggest innovations of the year.
Wait, what kind of tech is hidden behind? I haven't heard anything about what kind of innovations you think are going to be possible with this? So
Seaport is the infrastructure that runs all the ETH NFT marketplaces. It's basically the order book of ETH NFTs. From my conversations that I've talked with some people who work at OpenSea, and just like what I've seen on timeline, it seems like this is like the big rebuild is Seaport. So if they're able to build an order book for ETH NFTs, ordinals, Solana NFTs, if they create a universal order book for NFTs in some capacity, right? Then I think that becomes the biggest innovation because it reduces the friction of trading and it creates this kind of abstractive layer. Could honestly be a competitor to Emblem if it is something like that. But to be determined. But if they are rebuilding Seaport, which I've heard, then I think that could be one of the biggest innovations for not just the NFT sector, but the entire industry.
Wow.
Do you think that them stating publicly that they were maybe considering getting acquired kind of shows that maybe they don't have like the dev wherewithal to do it? Maybe because of burnout, maybe because of XYZ. But what are your thoughts regarding that?
Yeah, that's a good point. It is a good point, actually. Yeah, I think it shows
really
two
technical when you kind of maybe are reaching your burnt end seems a little bit tough. But that's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do agree. That could definitely be, that could definitely show that they are getting tired of this. And on the other side, it could mean that they need more funding for, it doesn't mean they're tired. They just need more funding, whether it's like, hey, I need a BlackRock to come in and acquire this so that we can see the full vision out. And we're limited on resources because of how expansive whatever the vision is, or it could be the exact complete opposite, where they're just like, I'm over it, I'm burnt out. We'll just hand this over to somebody, and we'll take our check over 5 years and call it a day.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see.
Token, man. When's my token dropping?
For the sake of the NFT industry, I hope it is something innovative. I think it's just like, at this point, the NFT industry is so dependent on OpenSea for so many things that if they're not innovating, I think it's like a huge setback, because
I just
again, everything is built off of Seaport.
I just don't give these guys any credit to do it, frankly. I just don't.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My final 3 for 2025 is Vitalik sticks with the L2 centric roadmap at the behest of greater pushback. I think people become more frustrated that the fees for stakers is not as high as they wanted, or some sort of market pushback. I think Vitalik sticks with it, and then price goes up and everyone kind of forgets whatever it is, and that eventually they push through the mud, and then a year or two from now everyone's like, oh, this is the vision that Vitalik saw. But of course at the time, yeah. On the other side of this, I do think Solana is going to go through something similar to what Ethereum's going through, whether that conversation start this year or whether they start, next year. For Solana, I think it's modularization. We saw some kind of early conversations or this year about people wanting to build L2s on Solana. And I saw a pretty large community pushback of them saying, fuck no, we don't want L2s. And then Anatoly actually is like, yeah, go ahead, build it, So I think there might be some sort of tribal kind of internal kind of tribalistic confliction that happens at some point then. Obviously you have Anatoly backing it though, but you know how the community gets. Once a community kind of digs their tracks in this like tribalistic perspective, it takes generally years for that to kind of unfold.
One differentiator right there is that just because they would use maybe some L2s doesn't make them like kind of bend to this layer 2 model. It's a permissionless network, so anyone can use a layer 2 for anything. But just like to build out the full stack of Solana and how it works, like that's not really gearing towards a layer 2 model. But you're free to build a layer 2 if you want to, efficiently kind of display your data and things like that. But it doesn't really change like the core model.
Good point. It's a really good point. I think on that, the community pushes back against the builders, and maybe is the case of people building L2s because they maybe just don't even understand what it is. Kind of like with Bitcoin as well, was kind of like that. Maybe not just like internal, like the whole thing blows up, but there's some sort of confliction about maybe how it should be, and just more like leaning more just into like tribal kind of warfare, similar to like the narrative of Bitcoin went through the Bitcoin Cash War, or Bitcoin, the mining wars, I guess, or the block size wars. Then Ethereum is going through this kind of like L2 war. I think something like that happens to Solana. I don't think it crushes it. It just seems like that seems to be the kind of progression of the Lindy effect of these like leading kind of blockchains. There is some sort of like social confliction that happens that a major decision has to be made. Last 2, privacy tech makes a dramatic comeback. Seems to be more big comeback. I don't know how that makes a comeback, whether it's like something like ZK Sync takes off, or Zcash is back in the center, or there's some sort of TradFi company that starts talking about privacy, or maybe Trump even. I don't know, but I do think that makes a comeback. And then Launchpad's become the new VC funding darling, just as like L2s were the big VC funding and smart contract platforms. I think Launchpad's become that new thing because of all of the revenue.
Bro, spin up those pitch decks again, Jake, man. Here
right?
That's good.
6 Emblem predictions. I think Founder Vaults market cap reaches 100 million prior to Keys TGE. So once that collection is live, next month or in the next few weeks, we could start kind of hounding on, what the implications are, and people start realizing it. I think also kind of this narrative that's forming around Keys becoming the kind of, it's the protocol token of Emblem, but now we have this AI division as well. Keys can be kind of positioned, as this virtuals kind of token competitor, or AI16Z, because we also have Tensorium, right, which is the agent token. Whereas when you see something like on virtuals, they have virtuals, the protocol token, then they have Luna, the agent token. AI16Z has AI16Z, the protocol token. Then they have Eliza, the agent token. We have something similar, although it formed pretty organically. Keys, the protocol token, and then you have Tensorium or Tensor, right, the agent token. So in that sense, both those other tokens are $1 billion plus. We also have Emblem AI, right? So you can kind of position it as Keys is the Emblem AI token, and then Tensor is the agent token. But on the other side, we also have Emblem Vault, the whole interoperability scale. So we kind of have it for two divisions. So I could see that narrative starting to unfold at some point in the future. And this is all predicated on kind of the success of Tensorium and Agent Hustle. But I could see that kind of starting to capture a lot of, imaginations and speculation of what that can be. On that side, I'll start with number 6. And I think that Tensorium grows to $250 million market cap as people start engaging with Hustle, which I was doing yesterday on 2 different hour-long kind of sessions. It is quite fantastic, I have to say. Is understanding of tokenomics and kind of more of the developer side of things is really fascinating. You kind of see Shannon's kind of mind imprinted onto that. Have you guys used Hustle, or have you guys gone on some deep sessions with it? What are your takes on it?
Oh yeah. He's really fun. The memory aspect is really cool. And it feels different than like a wrapper. It's not like a wrapper on just a ChatGPT wrapper that's kind of forged for crypto. It feels like you have kind of an expert in training in the trenches. And that's kind of like what I prefer to use him as. And I think it's been really, really awesome. And so as he kind of grows his memory out and just kind of domain knowledge within crypto, it's already really, really good. But as it kind of progresses, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's just going to be exciting to get it in people's hands very shortly. And understanding that this is like, less than 10% of what it can be. This is literally like the alpha version. Yeah, so it's super exciting.
On that note, I think Hustle becomes the intelligence layer of Emblem, where you have Hustle who interacts with the community, and it has Tensor, the token that it can play around with. On the other side of it, you hooking up Tensor to things like Emblem Vision and Emblem Markets, where you can just tell him to vault your assets to these different chains, or ask his recommendation on, hey, if I vault my rare Pepe to Solana, is there a better deal over there? And these kind of like cross-chain optimizations. I think that becomes quite clear then that this is like that agents become, the new kind of account abstraction, to where it just becomes very normie friendly.
Bro, 100%. Like there's no doubt about it. That is I'm convinced that that's the future. Like the idea that we're going to have 15 different wallets for 15 different blockchains, that's never going to happen. That was never going to happen. And the way you can use agents now, where they're so much better than they were even 6 months ago, and Hustle's like this whole nother level with memory and being able to understand specifics. Like he doesn't hallucinate specifics. Like that is completely game changing for just one little sliver, DeFi, right? It's just completely game changing, let alone all this other stuff with NFTs and, fungible tokens and everything. It's just, yeah, bro, it gets back to this incredible bull thesis of AI agents and how this is going to be transformative for crypto.
Yeah, could not be more bullish. Emblem AI grows to 25,000 vaults created. There's some alpha there with Hustle and how he interacts with Emblem AI, and everyone who uses Hustle, gets a wallet who then can, have Hustle, perform different things on your behalf, or at least with your, with your signature, I guess, right, or your conversation. So that could become quite explosive. 2 final ones, 50,000 unique Emblem keys holders by the end of the year. I think our projections are actually much higher than that, but 50,000 puts it in at least at this point in time, the top kind of 15 or top 10 in terms of holders. I think we could get it probably to the top 10 by all of the airdrops. And this is kind of why I'm so bullish, is that if Runes grows and Keys is positioned this way, where it's a top 10 token in terms of holders, and it's kind of the leading, infra token for key for on the Runes protocol, and Runes continues to grow alongside Bitcoin. That's just like a no-brainer opportunity. And kind of one of the expectations or hopes would be 20% of vault activity or trading moves to Solana in the L2s, as you can then mint vaults for basically no gas fee, and then you're just paying the Emblem fee, right? So if you're using a discount, you're basically just paying $8 to mint a vault, and then you can trade them for pretty much near free. You would hope that the majority of the vault activity moves to one of these two. Early kind of prediction would be Base seems to be where a lot of vault holders want to be transacting. Unsure why, but Solana we'll see as well, because I know Solana doesn't have a ERC 1155 standards, which I don't know how that will affect Pepe. So those are all my examples, or all my predictions. We'll see what happens there.
Let's go.
Let's go, son. Yeah. Obviously, some of these are a little bit more out of left field, but we got to have some fun there.
Jake, I just emailed you some of mine if you want to pull it up on the stream.
Cool. Yeah, I absolutely will. Give us some kind of initial thesis before we go into the predictions of, what you think about.
If you want to pull up my Twitter account on the stream, we can go over last year's real quick, and it'll kind of just be the same thing, looking for narratives that are kind of drowned out, that have major communities that are looking for a comeback. That's kind of an Ethereum story. I think the Ethereum story kind of develops more in 2025, as Bitcoin and Solana had breakout years in 2024. That makes sense to me. The higher that Bitcoin goes, the more people and institutions are looking for the next best thing, and I think that is Ethereum. So I think it gets a big institutional bid.
Here's your predictions from 2020, from last year.
Cool. This is at a time when I think Bitcoin was like 20K or 25K.
Bro, look at you. You really crushed it, dude. You really got it, bro. That's
last year around this time was...
I'm going to pin it to the top too for those that are interested.
It was a totally different environment last year. And so to be where we are today from back then is pretty crazy. And so...
Holy shit, dude. Nice, man.
To Adam's point, a lot can happen in a year. And I think that the year going forward is going to be bigger than the year that we just had in different ways. So Bitcoin broke 100K, biggest consumer application on Solana for 2024. That was easily pump fun. Bitcoin ordinals, they didn't quite dominate the high value NFT list, but they were pretty close. Rare Pepes, they're getting a lot of traction. I'm gonna push this one forward to this upcoming year. Web3 virtual worlds go mainstream. They didn't quite go mainstream. I'm gonna count that as an L. Michael Saylor rapidly climbed the ranks of the world's richest billionaires. That definitely happened. PFP valuations broke all-time high, as identity continues to be one of the most valuable real estates on the internet. We had pudgies, we had punks, but it's kind of really getting narrowed down. I think we'll see more PFP valuations rise as on-chain wealth kind of progresses over the next year. At least three of the top 10 performing equities were crypto companies. I know MicroStrategy was. I know Coinbase was. There's probably a third. I think probably Marathon or something like that. Online crypto casinos would face major regulatory hostility. I don't think that happened. Surprisingly, out of all things, that didn't happen. And let's see. NFTs experienced an explosion of mainstream utility. That definitely did not happen. Stablecoin volumes are higher on Solana than any other chain. I actually think that's Tron, but I think it is shifting. And Emblem Vault surpasses 500,000 vaults. We had a lot more. We had a lot more kind of infrastructure to build last year than we do this year. And so let's get into this year's. Did you get that email?
Yep. Yeah, I did. Also, so for Rare Pepe right now, the last sale market cap is 444 million. If you take the floor valuation, which is what all of these other ETH NFT collections do, then it's 2.6 billion. So, depending on how you view it, you could be right. I think the Rare Pepe community is a little bit more honest though. So they take the last sale price rather than the floor valuation, which I think all these collections should be doing.
In terms of, yeah, we'll get into it. All right. For 2025, the market bubbles in true crypto fashion. I think all the seeds have been sown. I think you have institutional money, you have lack of hostile regulators, a new kind of president coming into the US that has a bullish crypto administration. I think that if there's a bubble, it happens in crypto, and it happens this year. This one's fun. The first crypto AI agent becomes a billionaire.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm interested to hear the thesis.
I think, these AI agents are really kind of tricky, and they work all hours of the day. And I think with X payouts, they can have decent revenue with trading infrastructure, and I think strong communities that send them a lot of tokens over time. I think that these things are going to go mainstream, and I think one of the biggest kind of influencers of the year is going to be an AI agent. And I think that with that, I think he'll become in his own kind of personal wallet the first AI billionaire this year.
Wow. They also get a ton of airdrops. That's like, I think that's like the majority of the funding right now. Do you think that continues, or it's also that they can like execute transaction stuff
of community token launches, other launches, giving the AI agent a portion of the supply, things of that nature? That makes a lot of sense to me. What he'll do with his billions, I don't know, but I think that we'll find out.
He's gonna sweep floors.
All right. Ethereum breaks $15,000. I think that this is a pretty solid one. I think that that's insight. It's right in that realm of predictions that I like, that seems far off, but actually it used to seem really reasonable. If you used to tell somebody that Ethereum was going to hit 15,000, that would be like almost a no-brainer for them. And then now you have some of the biggest Ethereum bulls, even Adam, he's like really reining it in at like 8,000. And I think that just shows that most people are kind of, they're underweight. And I think Ethereum goes a lot higher.
Bullish. So Ethereum 1 trillion. Do you think then anything changes for Ethereum? You think it's just kind of more of the same? It's just kind of it's just been suppressed for so long. That's the major breakout. And it looks something similar. It's, again, like you said, to Bitcoin, like 2017 Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's just playing the narrative game, and it's out of fashion right now. It's so out of style to like Ethereum. Like I said, Bitcoin and Solana had breakout years in 2024. Ethereum was still one of the greatest inventions of modern history. I mean, they have one of the best and largest developer networks in the entire world. That's coming back. So I would expect to see that going forward. This one's fun. 2025 Bitcoin ETF inflows surpassed 2024 massive inflows. Obviously, Bitcoin ETFs and crypto ETFs were the biggest product of any ETFs in history, and I think that's going to be an even bigger year in year two.
Do you think it's because just the value of Bitcoin is much higher, or do you think there's more people participating in purchasing Bitcoin?
Basically, ETF? I think that more of these ETFs are going to get more intertwined. So there's going to be crypto ETFs all over. You get a lot more passive flows going. And I think that a lot more institutional buyers are going to be buying coins from retail sellers. So you might not get a huge change in market cap like you would expect, but the coins are changing hands to more ETF products and institutional investors from the average everyday retail investor.
Do you think so? On the other side with the Ethereum ETF, if it gets a native staking yield ETF, do you think Bitcoin ETF flows will migrate over there?
I just think that they both get way bigger, right? They're so small, they're so new. The Bitcoin ETF is really novel because one of crypto's biggest pain points over the years has been wallets. Nobody wants to get these wallets. Nobody wants to get away from their brokerage account. They all wanted one kind of interface, and Bitcoin ETFs allow them to do so. So they can get exposure without having to go on this huge technology learning curve. They just buy the ETF, and I think that continues. As you get kind of the passive flows from Ethereum staking, I think that kind of pushes its own narrative, but I think they both get bigger.
Solid.
This one is the biggest app of the year is built on Solana. Again. I think that it's funny because that was an obvious prediction for me last year, but now it's kind of, people are kind of running things like that through the mud in terms of just saying like, oh, it's just meme coins. Meme coins aren't in it. Only happen on Solana. They only happen on Solana because it's fast, cheap, and fun and easy to use. And so when you take it from that kind of framework, that is the recipe for building the next generation of an app. You want it cheap, fun, and quick to use. So I think that happens again.
Smart.
Cookie.fun tracked agent surpasses 50,000.
Holy moly, that's like a 20x from what I put.
I'm pretty close to putting this at like 500,000, to be honest.
You think so?
Just because so many of these agents themselves aren't new, but crypto agents are new. And crypto agent, the payment layer, is what's been missing on these agents all along. So agents exist in every kind of facet of life, every industry. And just to integrate with them with crypto, whether they're going to be personalities or they're going to be actual like useful utility agents, that's to be seen. But I think 50,000 is easy. It's probably more in line with 500,000.
Bullish.
This one's pretty easy in my view. 10 Bitcoin runes over 1 billion market cap.
All right. You're taking the opposite, where you think the wealth diversifies to some other coins, and then also, do you have a prediction on what the total runes market cap may be?
Ooh, let's see. As far as the total rune market cap, I mean, I think that you get to 100 billion. I think at least 50 billion in the next year works.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, because you're going to have one big runner, and say that that's Dog, say that that's Magic Internet Money. 5, 10, 15, 20 billion for each of those is doable. So I think 50 gets there. I think you'll have some utility tokens. And you just never know how crazy this gets in a spectacular mania. So this one I thought would be fun. I had a lot of predictions on Michael Saylor last year. I think a Michael Saylor of Ethereum appears. I think that'll cause a lot of waves in the markets. Everyone's looking at Michael Saylor saying, how's he able to do this? And what he's really doing is he's taking the compound annual growth rate and say it's 15, 20% per year. He's just factoring that into his loans, his leverage, and he's paying his bondholders, is whoever's loaning him money, 5, 10%, and he's keeping the difference. And since it's time weighted, he's able to just make payments on it. None of it's callable, none of it's due all at once. And so the strategy is actually really novel, because it gives you're trading basically cash for a better cash, or cash that can appreciate or also depreciate if it comes down to it, but your bill won't be called due. So I think it makes sense for a Michael Saylor of Ethereum to appear, and I think that it's probably time.
Do you think one thing here? Do you think that Michael Saylor of Ethereum is U.S. based, or do you think it's international?
Ooh,
yeah, because Ethereum's also has a pretty big Asian community.
Yeah, I mean, because I think in the U.S. it would be someone like Larry Fink, and I think that people that have access to Larry Fink are probably going to be more U.S. based. And so I think someone in that realm is going to kind of take that opportunity. So I'd say probably US based, even though that sounds dumb because the world's a big place. But I think this year a lot of the crypto activity happens in the US just because of regulations.
All right. Mine minted and made in the US of A.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Proof of work catches a resurgence after years of proof of stake. I think there's been a lot of innovation. People aren't really qualifying how many updates Bitcoin has and some of these other proof of work chains have on the docket ready to kind of be implemented. And I think that kind of sparks a new kind of resurgence in proof of work.
Oh, yeah.
Over 50 billion of crypto companies go public via IPO. I think that you're going to get Circle, Kraken, maybe something like Tether. And I think over $50 billion in valuations will hit the public markets.
Oh my God. An IPO for Tether would be the most hated trade of all time. Like the biggest hated rally ever.
But I mean, it's such an incredible company. I mean, you're investing in the dollar, basically. How can you invest in the dollar? You invest in a stablecoin company, the dominant stablecoin company. So they're positioned like never before. They really pioneered the purchasing U.S. treasuries with, the deposits of their stablecoin depositors' money. So innovative team, immensely wealthy, and hold some of the most power in all of crypto. And Tether wasn't their first business, so I wouldn't fade them.
Yep.
crypto virtual worlds rise as AI agents begin to rule the digital realm. I think they're going to want to make layers. I think that they're going to do a lot of the things that people like to do, have a space for themselves and things of that nature. And I think all things virtual are going to kind of start to make a lot more sense when you look at the world through some kind of a dead internet theory type of framework, where a lot of the activity online isn't going to be done by humans. It's actually mostly going to be done by some sort of AIs and algorithms. I think that that's going to continue to remain true.
You think AI agents are the new NPCs of virtual worlds? They're just a better one?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, man, I just use AI so much, and it is so impressive to me now. The things that I'm able to do, the things that the average guy can do with ChatGPT 4.0, something like that. The world's not ready for the technology, and this is what they package and give to the mainstream consumer public. So what they have internally is like 100x more powerful, and that's like terrifying. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy what it can do. It's so powerful. So
what happened here?
I think that I hit the okay, we're back. And Rare Pepe NFT collection becomes the highest by market cap by all chains. I think that that's just obvious. This seems like the year of Rare Pepe. You have Elon on board. If there's two Elon memes, it's probably Doge and Pepe at this point. And I think the NFT collection is just such a great part of crypto history. So as crypto kind of psyche grows, I think Rare Pepe psyche grows alongside it.
Rare Pepe, man. I mean, that's the goal with Emblem Vault, right? We have, I think, 26,000 or 27,000 Rare Pepe vaults that have been minted. As we expand to all these other chains, you get to see an increase in Rare Pepe trading. Actually, one of my surprises with the implementation of Counterparty 2.0, I thought we would see a lot more unvaulting of people trading these natively. And actually, it's been the complete opposite. It's just vault activities increased even more since that protocol upgrade was there. Maybe the infrastructure is not ready, but that was actually a big surprise to me.
We definitely didn't get the hit that we thought that we would get. So I think it's probably rising for other reasons. But yeah. I mean, I thought that we would get a little bit of a hit, but I think that we're in a great place, man. Emblem has such innovative technology. The foundation is like really strong right now. Everything that we have ready to roll out is pretty sick. So the cross-chain digital on-chain economy is kind of really starting to take shape. It's becoming obvious for pretty much everyone that's paying attention, just like it's been obvious to us for a very long time. And I think that continues down that route. What do you think?
Yeah, one of the things I'm interested through our expansion is I want to see. I know this is going to happen. I just don't know in what capacity it will. That there's going to be some L2 that's going to catch us by surprise. That's going to take over some sort of cross-chain niche, right? Whether it's like Rare Pepe's trading on Stacks, right, or CryptoPunks on Bitcoin, or even so much maybe Televault takes off and people are trading Litecoin on Solana as an SPL or something like that. There's going to be something like that happens, which will probably even create another division for Emblem as well, or another kind of sector. And that's always what I'm excited for. Is it's really tough to predict how people use the protocol and the product, because people come up with all kinds of crazy ideas. And I'd be excited too, once we launch our grant program next year, to then incentivize builders to build applications on top, as you've come up with tons of different ideas of what users could do on the application layer of Emblem. I mean, the Televault team said they want to build a Bitcoin layer too using Emblem Vault, right? We actually, I'm in conversations with somebody, I'm not going to say who it is, who basically wants to build a Rare Pepe DeFi product, like basically all DeFi tools for Rare Pepe specifically, right? So there's all kinds of different opportunities out there. And I think with the expansion, that's kind of what we're encouraging.
Yes, sir. And, it's so innovative. There's so much going on. It's kind of difficult to even keep track from the Emblem side, but this is just the early stages for us. So Keys looks amazing. The Founder Vault artwork that we got from Verdandi is so crazy. And everything's kind of lining up. So this is going to be a gigantic year. Pumped for it.
Bullish. Well, I appreciate everyone who, sat and had this, sat and listened. we got to go through all of our predictions. I know sometimes it's quite painful, but man, could not be more bullish on 2025 and what's to come. Like I think this is truly this is either, I don't know if it's the adoption cycle or maybe it's the just like mainstream awareness cycle or maybe it's the acceptance cycle where people are like, okay, crypto's not going away now, finally. And then next cycle is like the actual adoption where, 100 million people are using it per day. Or maybe it's this one, but I'm leaning a little bit more in like this is like the acceptance cycle.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, but I think that comes at like a price acceptance point, meaning maybe the mainstream won't use it every day, but the mainstream won't be able to afford it by the time that it is ready to be used every day, in terms of institutions realizing that and getting their dollars to work first, raising the price of everything else. So I think 2025 will be big. I don't think it's the last chance to buy cheap crypto, but I think 2025 is going to be big.
Only more opportunities. I've been seeing this, a few threads be posted about how this is the last cycle to ever make money, right? Everyone's getting rich but you, and this is the last time. I think as crypto grows, the opportunities only increase. Maybe it's not as obvious as it was of just like buying Bitcoin and holding it or buying Ethereum and holding it, but I think the opportunities there are just going to continue to increase.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. I've spent a lot of my life dealing with crypto, and you always kind of think like, man, you're late. But the new narratives continue to develop, and you're actually like so early, whether you have AI agents or meme coins or DPIN or whatever's happening on Bitcoin or whatever the next big narrative is. This industry has a way of reinventing itself like no other industry in the world. And I think that continues as well.
Yeah. Well, one final point. I think I was listening to like the Empire end of the year podcast, and they were talking about this exact idea about how crypto reinvents itself. And they were comparing it to cloud computing, actually, of how they thought the cloud computation industry was basically saturated and dead for the last 10 years. And then AI came, and now they basically have to change the whole thing all over again. So they said there's a bunch of these like cloud computing companies that are getting 9-figure raises because it has to be completely reimagined all over again because of that. And crypto is the same exact way, just probably at a much faster pace.
Yeah, I mean, cloud computing, that's a funny one. Crypto, I mean, it's had so much growth under the covers of the last decade, and it's weird growth because it's whoever decided to stay in the industry, whoever didn't get washed out, it's not. And so it's believers, but it's also the believers that didn't get washed out, which is kind of a thin margin, but a stronger community than almost any other industry in the world. How strong of a community does the cloud computing industry have? Probably not that strong, So the crypto community is one over everyone else, and this is really just kind of the beginning for it. So this is what we've been waiting for.
This is what we can. Well, glad that you're along for the ride, my friend, and that everyone else is here. Emblem continues to grow. The industry continues to grow. I hope everyone has an awesome New Year's Eve, whether you're celebrating that right now across the world or you're going out later tonight, please be safe. Enjoy yourselves. We're actually having no show tomorrow, so that we're going to take in the new year. And then on Thursday, we're starting off the year with the one and only Leonidas of the Dog Army.
Let's go.
Close friend of Emblem, close friend of all of ours. He's going to come in, and we're going to start the year off with a bang with one of our good friends and have a fun time. So everyone who's here, please be safe out there. Have a good one. Happy freaking New Year. 2025 is going to be extremely bullish, and we'll see you back on Thursday.
Let's go. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.